Hello crafty friends, this is the Paper Chef here. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to cut out patterned paper using the Brother ScanNCut. The patterned paper we'll be using is called Bird Ballad. And it's a new product that is part of the Bird Ballad suite in the annual catalog, which will be released on June 4th, 2019. Okay, I'm going to get started right away on the tutorial, and then I'm going to show you the other papers in this beautiful stack. Now I'm going to just show you the back of this one because this is the one we're going to start to cut out. So the back of that piece of paper looks like this. So in this entire stack you have birds or a really cool pattern on one side, and then you have sort of something that you could use for cards. Like I like this one for embellishments, this side. And on the other side you have nice things you can use for cards and treats. And of course stick around to the end because as always I will show you something we create using this paper. Okay, so I'm gonna start from scratch. Start from square one. So I put this paper onto the mat. Let me zoom out. That's my Brother ScanNCut mat. I'm gonna flip up my camera and turn on my machine so you can see every step of the way how to do this. Now turn it on. I'll move it a little closer. Okay, so you see pattern and you see scan. Those are your two options. We want to scan because we want to cut out. We're going to scan and cut. That's what the ScanNCut does best. We're going to scan and cut these out. So we're going to select scan, and then we're going to directly cut these out. Okay, we want direct cut, meaning we're not going to do anything with them. We're not going to save them. We're just going to cut them straight away. So let's say direct cut, and now it's asking where do you want to save, where do you want to temporarily store this image, okay, these images. Okay, so we're really not going to save them on our machine. It's just asking where can we put these for now. Do you want to put them online, ScanNCut canvas? No, just right on our machine. So select the machine. That's where we're putting them. Okay, they're well-defined lines, meaning these birds contrast really well with the background. In fact, I love this sheet of paper. I'll show you different ones I cut out. Because it's really well-defined lines and there's good contrast, you select black and white recognition mode. Even if you have a bunch of colored images, you'd still select black and white recognition mode. Always try that first and only use color. And the color's inside here. That's the color. But only use that if you don't have success with black and white. I did use it a couple times on this stack, but for the most part, I didn't really need to. Okay, so let's go ahead and load the mat. So you select black and white recognition mode, you load the mat, and you say start. It's going to scan the whole sheet of birds. And then in the interest of saving time, we'll just cut out some of the birds, not the whole sheet. But I will tell you my success rate and how long the whole sheet takes if you were to cut out the whole sheet. My throat's getting a little sore here, so I have to drink something while I'm doing this tutorial. All right, so here we go. How'd it do? So there's our birds. It's okay. It did really well, and that's typical that the outside ones don't all get selected when you have partial images because it doesn't really do real well on the outside of the mat. Now, I'm just gonna zoom in so you can see that. So zoom in, okay, and tilt this up so you can see birds selected. Great job. Now, but I'm not going to actually get all of these birds and cut them all out because then we'd be here longer. So I'm going to select part of the mat. Like we'll just get some birds from up here just so you can learn the concept, but later on I can cut out all those other birds because they're still selected. I mean, later on I can go select them again. All right, so let's get that many birds. It's good. You're going to learn a couple more skills like how to delete partial birds. Okay, so let's say those are the birds we want, and then we're going to put an outline distance around them. So let me show you what that looks like so I know some of you are new here, so I always start back at the beginning. So here's what I mean by outline distance. Okay, so there's a bird and you want the little bit of white space around it. That's an outline distance. Okay, so we're going to put an outline distance right here. And we're going to say 0.04. That's the default. Not the default, that's the first choice. So I always select 0.04 for outline distance. You could make a bigger outline distance as well, but I like 0.04. It looks good. Now you see these little bits. If you ignore small object size, then we can get rid of these little bits. So let's go in here to ignore object size. And we can get rid, if we just say, we know the birds are at least, I don't know, they're at least 1.5 inches high, 2 inches high. So we're safe to say if we get rid of things that are like almost 1/2 inch, then you're good to, then you'll get rid of a lot of little bits, but you won't be getting rid of the birds themselves. You don't want to ignore object sizes too big or your birds will start to disappear. I think we're good to go. We can say, okay. If at any point you still have little bits of things on your mat, like in here, if you still had little bits, you can then go into this, editing mode and trash them. All right, so last step is if you have an auto blade, it'll just cut out your paper and you don't have to set the blade depth. But if you have designer series paper and you're using a CM350 like I am, or ScanNCut 2, then you would set your blade depth. And I set it at a 3 normally for designer series paper, okay? And I say normally, and then sometimes if my blade gets a little dull, I might have to set it on a 3.5. Okay, so let's just say 3 for you guys. And I'm gonna put that link, I'm gonna put that in the description. So we're gonna say, now we're gonna say cut. And we're gonna start. And it's gonna take 2 minutes. Okay, now it's gonna get noisy. So push the machine off to the side. I wanna show you the rest of the papers. Pull my camera a little bit and show you the rest of the papers. Sorry for the shakiness. In the stack. So every stack of designer series paper comes with 12 pieces. So you saw the piece we're cutting, and that's another piece. And then on the back is another pattern. Okay, so sometimes more subtle pattern on the back. Put that off to the side. This one has keys. Pretty cool. So you can tell already that this paper is sort of a vintage style. Okay, then we have bird cages. Pretty nice. Feathers. Yes, I've already tried to cut these out. I know you're thinking, wow, feathers. Look how many little feathers. You're right, it's like great embellishments. There's feathers. Did I show you the other side? Yes, I did. Okay, seagulls. More flowers. Oh, by the way, this page, not good success rate on that page. This one, yes, very good. So this one with the blue background is nice. And let's see on the other side of that, it's like these are little birds, but they look almost like they could be little airplanes. Okay, so that's just nice patterns in this stack. It's still cutting out just that little partial piece. And I want to show you now the coordinating colors while it's doing that. Okay. So our coordinating colors are basic black, basic gray, Bermuda Bay, Calypso Coral, Crumb Cake, Daffodil Delight, Old Olive, Petal Pink, Pool Party, Smoky Slate, Soft Suede, and Whisper White. When you're looking at coordinating colors, you always kind of pay attention to the more colorful colors. That's what you can make your cards and treats out of. So what jumped out at me when I looked at the coordinating colors was Old Olive, Petal Pink, and Calypso Coral and Daffodil Delight. Those jumped out at me, and I found some papers to go along with them. All right, we're done. Now, normally I would have stopped the video during the cutting, but since I thought, oh, it's not really going to take that long, it did take longer than I thought for just a quarter of the page, but that's okay. We didn't stop the video. We're going to keep on going. All right, because I only have, honestly, if I don't keep on going, I'll run out of bird paper and I won't be able to do the tutorial because I'll be like, we've already cut the bird paper, so I need to keep the video going. All right, finish cutting. So say okay, and now we're going to unload the mat. Okay, we're going to say okay. So now we'll talk about some other things and some other papers. So first, how to get this off the mat. So you peel your designer series paper away from the mat. And you could use the little spatula that, see, did a great job. And then if you're going to do the rest of the paper, be sure to trim off these little bits so they don't get stuck in your machine. Okay, but then you have all these little birds, and you just sort of bend the mat or use your little spatula, and they come right off. Looks like it's time for position alignment a little bit because there's a little bit of more white space on one side than the other. That's another story. I do have videos on scanning, cutting, position alignment. So anyway, so let's just get these off the mat, and then I could show you some of the other papers and how they look out. Oh, here's one. It's sort of, yep. Okay. Almost. I think I got them all. So now we have all these great little birds. We can use them for embellishments or what have you. Tilt that down. Okay, you see what I mean? There's a little bit more white space. I need to do an alignment because there's a little more white space on the top of the bird than on the bottom of the bird. All right, and it was just aligned yesterday, or not yesterday, earlier. All right, so here we have these birds. Now, I want to talk about these different papers. So this one I had great success rate with, and I was able to cut out 60 birds in just 8 minutes. Okay, here's another one. So 60 birds, almost every bird cut out, and I was able to cut out 60 birds in 8 minutes. I used a blade depth of 3 or 4 on that paper. Okay, this paper here is the feathers. I had a really good success rate of, it took 13 minutes, and I cut out 120 feathers in 13 minutes. Okay, so it's the same process. I used black and white recognition mode. I used a blade depth of 3, and I cut out 120 plus. I think I stopped counting. I wrote 120 plus feathers. So I stopped counting. I put them in my little tin. Then this paper here, here's what the problem with this paper. It wasn't really a problem. It's just that it's trying to cut out, like one pattern doesn't really stop where another pattern ends. So I had good success rate with the ones that were sort of independent. Okay, for example, this bird here. I have to show you. This bird, let me get my pointer. Independent, meaning, look, if you go around it, it has white all around. And it's no problem, and the Brother ScanNCut had no problem, cutting out this bird here. But then other patterns, they just never ended. Like here, this one just goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on until it goes like off the page or whatever. So it really couldn't get some of these longer patterns that went all around the page. So of course I'm going to try whiteout or something. I'm going to try using like whiteout and breaking up the pattern. Maybe putting like whiteout here to like stop this bird pattern from going all around the page. So anyway, it works really well for the independent bird patterns, the ones that are just sitting without anything around them. Okay, seagulls. Excellent job for the seagulls. It took 10 minutes to cut out the page of seagulls. I had almost a 100% success rate, and I'll show you what some of those look like. See, I just said my blade was just aligned earlier. See, I have the right amount of space on one side as I do on the other. So good job for the seagulls. So if you're thinking about getting this paper from my catalog, then you're going to have good success rate with like all these different sheets. Okay, blue pool party paper. What did I write for that? I wrote blue background. Oh, here's what I was talking about. The birds on the blue background. I had a good success rate. Okay, on the blue background. It cut out 10 of these pieces. So out of these, and these are big clunks, these are big pieces. Oh, here, let me show you what I mean by pieces. It cut out 10 of these pieces out of the paper. So almost, and then it didn't cut the ones around the side very well. But again, just great job for this paper here with the blue background. That's because there was, again, and I used black and white recognition mode, but that's, again, these are separate. These were really nice. They separate, the patterns were separate. They weren't like all kind of running together. Okay, the large with the white back I talked about. Okay, so and then there were some flowers, and I had no trouble cutting out, any flowers that were separate in here and different things like that. So without further ado, this one I did not have any luck with. This one, just no luck. Color recognition mode I tried. I tried black and white recognition mode. And I think it's just one big graphic. I think it all runs together. I just had absolutely no luck with this paper. But wouldn't it make great like backgrounds and things like that, and for treats? Oh, and plus the seagulls are on the back, so you can use it for something else. All right, so the Bird Ballad suite. And if you want an annual catalog, then check out the link in the description, because you can, if you order anything in May, you'll get my annual catalog survival kit by June. So, and it has lots of cool stuff in this new catalog. So here's what I did with these things that we cut out. So I always show you things I made using the techniques that we just cut out. So we cut out these birds. Let me see if I can do that. There we go. That'll work, that'll work. I have some strange lighting today. I'm very sorry about that. All right, so these are what I call tag treats, and inside the tag treats are Hershey nuggets. And I used the birds that we cut out. So like I used this bird, and some feathers, and this is Calypso Coral because that's one of the coordinating colors. And this is Daffodil Delight. You can get this ribbon now, Daffodil Delight. And inside, I put Hershey nuggets. And this is such an easy thing to make. I've made these on my channel before. I have tutorials. I'll put the measurements in the description. Okay, so I put Hershey nuggets inside that match the little old olive case. So this is an old olive case using just this new detailed tag topper punch. And then I use this other new punch. These are all new. Well, everything I'm showing you right now is actually new. June 4th, only the demonstrators can pre-order this right now, like my team members or other demonstrators. But this ribbon here is not new. That ribbon is called Daffodil Delight Double Stitch Ribbon, and you can get that now. But you just can't get these other things right now, like this punch I'm showing you. June 4th, though, it'll be available. It's called Timeless Label. But if you don't cut out the whole label, then you get this kind of effect. You get a little tag, because it's a nice long label, which I like. All right, and I also just wanted, and what did I put in here? I think just more nuggets. So again, this is Calypso Coral, one of the coordinating colors. All right, I need to show you that, the stamp set. So in the Bird Ballad suite is Free as a Bird stamp set. Okay, and I love how these products coordinate. And I just got back from a trip, so I haven't even, besides the sentiments, I did stamp the sentiments, I have not stamped these images yet. But I'm assuming they're gonna cut out really well with the Brother ScanNCut. And then I'm gonna color them in with the blends. I also have not even opened my paper pumpkin kit, which is all about birds and nature and all this kind of business. This month's paper pumpkin kit, this month being May 2019, if you're watching this later. There's a bird paper pumpkin kit theme. It's called Hugs from Shell. Hold on, let me take a sip of my hot liquids here. And in the Hugs from Shell kit, this is gonna coordinate with that. So that's where I got those sentiments. All right, what else do I want to show you? Here we go. So this is a box. This is something from the suite. So here is a box I embellished, and I didn't do it very tight, the belly band, because I wanted to be able to take it off and put stuff in the box. Like this is going to be like, a gift box or a prize box. Maybe like my team challenge will get this as a prize box, but they'll get something made inside, like homemade. So this is what you do when you get all these like really cool, these bigger ones. I call them like sort of flourishes. These bigger things. You can do stuff like this with them, like put them on this box or a card. And this is a tin. So the belly band is made of designer series paper, and this ribbon that comes in this suite. Okay, so the ribbon is here. Let me show you the ribbon. It's this lace. It's beautiful lace, and I just sort of glued it on there lightly or used rolling adhesive. And then because the suite has coordinating colors of like vanilla, very vanilla, like inside this tin are very vanilla cards. So I was trying to tie in the very vanilla with the white. So I put this tulle ribbon, which you can get now, with the lace ribbon. And then I used from the Magnolia Lane suite this little old olive twine. And it comes with these, we have these little cute little embellishments, which I thought were simply adorable. I mean, I buy things like this from Hobby Lobby a lot, these little keys, but I've not seen them this small. And so I love, let me zoom in here. Not zoom in, but let me focus that. I love how small these little tiny keys are, and they look sort of like copper. I just love that. And then these ones here, I just glued on here. So these are more embellishments. I forget the name of them. I think they're called, here, let's see. We'll get the name of them. Trinkets. Bird Ballad trinkets. Okay, so that's those little trinkets. And you can do, they have little thingies, little holes, and you can glue, and you can also glue them. And then finally I inked around the edges. Okay, let me show you what's inside this tin. So this is how you decorate the tin using the Brother ScanNCut, all this stuff I cut out with the Brother ScanNCut. And then inside the tin are these laser, not this stuff, this is my papers. These are some of the cards I'm cut, but these, you get these. Okay, you get laser cut cards. So they come with a blank front. So you can do this, all kinds of stuff with this laser, delicate very vanilla cards. You can make other projects, cut those out. And in my case, I'm using this paper here called Perennial Essence paper. And of course, I cut it out with my ScanNCut, and I'm going to be putting them as backgrounds for this. I haven't done anything with the cards yet, but that's what I have cut out the papers already. Oh, here, I did put one in there. Okay, so you can see it. Okay, so anyway, that's the little box. And the box itself is cool too. It's called a tin, laser cut tin. And then finally you have a card here. I made a card using that stamp set. Your friendship means the world to me. And then with those little things you cut out, the ScanNCut. So those are just some ideas. And this, by the way, is not from this is Petal Pink. It matches. It's from the Perennial Essence, that background of the paper. So those are just some of my projects I whipped up without even really having the suite too long. And I know that like once I start using these little birds on things and the seagulls, I can imagine using the seagulls with like the lighthouses from the other set. I mean, this one will be nice for nautical themes. I can just imagine what you could do with all these birds that you can cut out. So if you have some ideas what you could do with the birds you cut out, please write that in the comments below this video. So thank you for watching. This is the Paper Chef. Bye for now.